Hello friends, I am Ambika. Welcome to SA Educational Hub, a platform to share knowledge. Service providers Situn and Ambika. In this Python tutorial video, we will learn what is a tuple in Python, accessing individual values in a tuple, index and negative index, indexing error and type error, how to find the length of a tuple, nested tuples, creating a tuple with only one value, difference between tuple and list, benefits of tuple over list. The tuple data type, sequence type. The tuple data type is almost identical to the list data type except in two ways. We will discuss the difference between a list and a tuple later in this section. What is a tuple? A tuple is a value that contains multiple values in an ordered sequence. An ordered sequence means a set of values where each value is identified by an integer index. A tuple begins with an opening parenthesis and ends with a closing parenthesis. Cat, dog, horse, cow is an example of a tuple. Values inside the tuple are also called items or elements. In a tuple, items are separated with commas. Example: open the Python IDE or any text editor, then type this Python code and run it. In this example, a tuple containing string type values cat, dog, horse, cow is assigned to the variable a. The following print statement print a will display the tuple cat, dog, horse, cow. Similarly, a tuple containing integer type values 1, 2, 3, 4 is assigned to the variable b. The following print statement print b will display the tuple 1, 2, 3, 4. In the next statement, a tuple containing different data types values 3.14 a float data type, true a boolean type, Python a string type, 27 an integer type, and none a non-data type is assigned to the variable c. The following print statement print c will display the tuple 3.14 true, Python 27 none. This example shows that a tuple may contain values of the same data type or different data types. We can get the data type of an object by using the built-in function type in Python. The last three statements of the example will display the data types of the variables a, b, and c respectively. Here the data types are tuples. The tuple data type is represented by the tuple class in Python. We can even have a tuple with no items in it, called an empty tuple, similar to an empty list. Example: in this example, an empty tuple is assigned to the variable a. The first print statement will display an empty tuple. The next print statement will display the data type of the variable a, which is tuple. Accessing individual values in a tuple. Each item in the tuple can be individually accessed using its index. An index is an integer. An index of a tuple starts from 0. The first item in the tuple is at index 0. The second item is at index 1. The third item is at index 2, and so on. We can access an item in the tuple by specifying its index within square brackets. Example: open the Python IDE or any text editor, type this Python code and run it. In this example, a tuple containing 4 items cat, dog, horse, cow is assigned to the variable a. We can access an item in the tuple by specifying its index within square brackets. Because the index begins at 0, print a0 will return the first value, that is cat. Similarly, print a1 will display the second value in the tuple, dog. Print a2 will display the third value, horse, and print a3 will display the last value in the tuple, cow. So we can access an individual item in the tuple by specifying its index within square brackets. Tuples support all the sequence operations we discussed for strings. Negative indexes. We can also use negative integers for the index. The integer value -1 refers to the last index in a tuple. The value -2 refers to the second to last index in a tuple, and so on. Example. In this example, a tuple is assigned to the variable a. Because we have used a negative index, the print a -1 will return the last value in the tuple, that is cow. Similarly, print a -3 will return the value dog, which is the third item from the end. Indexing error. Python will return an index error message if you use an index that exceeds the index value in your tuple. Example. In this example, valid indexes are 0, 1, 2 and 3, but we have used 4, which exceeds the index value of the tuple. So Python will return an index error message that tuple index out of range. Similarly, if we use -5, Python will return an index error message that tuple index out of range, because here valid negative indexes are -1, -2, -3 and -4. TypeError. Indexes can be only integer values. Floats, data types will cause a TypeError. Example. This example will cause a TypeError. Indices can be only integer values, not float, string or non-data types. But here we have used a float value, so Python will return a TypeError message that tuple indices must be integers or slices, not float. Python will not return any error message if we use boolean values true or false, because the numeric value of true is 1 and false is 0. So by using boolean values, we can access the first and second items in the tuple. Length of a tuple. We can find out the number of values in a tuple by using the built-in function len. Example. A tuple is assigned to the variable a. There are 4 values in the tuple, so the output will be 4. We can find out the number of values in a tuple by using the built-in function len. Nested tuples. Tuples can also contain other tuple values known as nested tuples or multi-dimensional tuples. The values in these tuples of tuples can be accessed using multiple indexes. Example. In this example, a nested tuple is assigned to the variable a. The first print statement, print a, will display the whole tuple. The next print statement, print len a, will display the length of the tuple. So, although we see 6 items here, nested has only 2 items. The statement print a0 will display the first item in the tuple, which is also a tuple of 2 items, cat and dog. The print a1 will display the second item in the tuple, which is also a tuple of 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4. The print a01 will display the item dog. By supplying 2 indices with a01, we are telling the computer to go get the element at position 0, which is the first item in the tuple. The first item itself a tuple of 2 items, cat and dog, and then from that means from the cat and dog to get the element at position 1, which is dog. So the output will be dog. Similarly, the print 11 will return the value 2. In this case, the computer will go to the element at position 1, which is a tuple of 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from that it will access the element at position 1. So the output will be 2. In the case of 2 indices, the computer will first go to the position specified at index 1 and extract the value. We get the intermediate result. Then from that intermediate result, the computer will return the value specified at index 2. We can use this kind of multiple indexing with nested sequences to get directly to a nested element. Creating a tuple with only one value. If your tuple contains only one value, then place a trailing comma after the value inside the parenthesis. Otherwise, Python will assume you have just typed a value inside a regular parenthesis. Python recognizes this as a tuple value because of the comma. Example: in the first statement, cat is a string value with a trailing comma that is assigned to the variable a. In the second statement, cat is a string value without a trailing comma that is assigned to the variable b. The output will be a tuple data type in the case of the first statement. Python recognizes this as a tuple value because of the trailing comma. The output will be a string data type in the case of the second statement. Without a trailing comma, Python will assume you have just typed a value inside regular parenthesis. That is why the first one is a tuple and the second one is a string data type. Difference between tuple and list. The tuple data type is almost identical to the list data type except in two ways. First, tuples are typed with parentheses instead of square brackets. But the main way that tuples are different from lists is that lists are a sequence data type that is mutable, meaning that their contents can be changed. Tuples and strings, though also sequence data types, are immutable and cannot be changed. Example: in this example, a tuple is assigned to the variable a. In the following statement, we attempted to modify the tuple by assigning the value rabbit at index position 1. But Python will return a TypeError message stating that tuple object does not support item assignment. So we cannot modify, append or remove a tuple value. Tuples and strings are immutable, whereas a list is mutable, which means that its contents can be changed. Example 2. We have taken the same example as the previous one, but here we attempted to modify a value in a list. We see there is no error when we try to modify a list. In this example, a list is assigned to the variable a. In the next statement, we modified the list by assigning the value rabbit at index position 1. The following print statement will display the modified list, so we can modify a list, but we cannot modify a tuple. Benefits of tuple over list. If you need an ordered sequence of values that never changes, use a tuple. A second benefit of using tuples instead of lists is that because they are immutable and their contents do not change, Python can implement some optimizations that make code using tuples slightly faster than code using lists. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Next video is dictionary data type in Python. Contact us ambikarai27@gmail.com. Thank you.